Hey, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I am your host, Willie Bragg. I hope each and every one of you are doing well this afternoon, or whatever time you're watching it. There are some people that may be watching it halfway around the world. So, and God knows what time it is over there. So, anyway, I been watching and observing people on the online left for quite a while, and basically, I basically take what I will from pretty much everybody, from people that I really agree with to people that I'm not so keen on, and and come up with my own conclusions about things because I'm my own person, as each and every one of you are your own person. And if you come up here to watch my program, I'm not saying you should agree with everything I have to say, but just take what I have to say with a grain of salt. And and if you agree with me, that's great. If you don't, that's we're all different. So yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, when I look at the online left, they're all pretty much 90% there. There is not a hell of a lot of difference between the politics of TYT, or, in my view, and some of the other folks, Jimmy Dore, or the Gray Zone, or Kyle Kulinski, or the Humanist Report, or you name it across the board, Savvy Savs, and all of that. Let's see here. The intro had no sound. Oh, that's not good. But anyway, okay, I am having audio issues, folks. So I do apologize if the audio issues keeps going the way they are. So I think that I might be able to try to get some kind of a sound. Let's see. Didn't notice any missing sound. Oh, didn't notice any missing sound. You have sound now. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me get back to what I was saying. Oh, by the way, how do y'all like my background? I actually have been trying to do a little bit different on my show here and everything. I know I have to go and improve it so I don't look like an apparition. Woo, spooky, spooky, spooky. Woo, spooky. This is going to be cool around Halloween. You know that. So anyway, as I was saying, the people on online left space, whether we're talking about Savvy Sal's, Brianna Joy Gray, whether we're talking about, Shank Uger, whether we're talking about, Majority Report, David Packman, David Dole, you name it, everybody across the spectrum. And people kill me for saying this, but there's 90% agreement. We all want Medicare for all. We want free college. We want to end to these neocon wars. We want to see Julian Assange free. We want to see this country stop being right wing. We want to see we want to see this country move away from capitalism, move away from social conservatism, move away from this sort of thing, and to move toward a society where there's actual freedom of speech that's recognized, where there's a society where there's people who are basically where we can have our disagreements, and it's not a cancel culture situation. Unfortunately, there are some on the left that do take an autocratic approach, but they have learned that from the right, because the rights were the ones that created this ruckus to begin with. But anyway, let me get to the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about. On the Vanguard recently, Kyle Kulinski was having a discussion with Zach and Zach and what's his name? Zach and Gavin. And they were having a discussion about third parties, Cornel West running for president, and whether the left should support Joe Biden, support Cornel West, and Jimmy Dore came along, and they had some takes on Jimmy Dore, and I'm going to start off with a little bit of comedy first because Shanda Masta from Trailer Park Pundit, Beauty, and the Boomer. If you haven't seen their show, go ahead and watch it. I highly recommend it. Share this, and I figure I'll go ahead and share this with you. So we'll start on it with a comedic start, and then take it from there. So give me a moment here. We will have everything set up, and all that good stuff. Good. Let's see. Yeah, we can get started right here. So, okay, let's get started, and yeah, you'll see why this is funny. Of course, you could tell it's going to be funny already. So let me do this right now.
Far away, the dumbest shit I've ever heard him say. And for Sam Cedar to chime in and say, I'll debate him, I was watching that like, if he doesn't want to do it, I'll fucking do it. I'll do it. Because that shit is, are you, like, do you have any brain cells left to make that argument? I think it's a huge red flag of a faux populist when you start hearing people like Jimmy Dore making the argument that actually Trump is the lesser of two evils. And that is literally a fascist. Just to be clear, that is of all the things he said, that is, if you follow the news at all in modern day, you would know for sure that it's factually false. Or you do know that and you're lying because you're a narrative humper and you're sticking to your narrative no matter. Like, that's the thing I don't like. He's a narrative humper and he's a terminal contrarian. So he has his narrative, which is like, actually, Democrats are the bigger evil. And it's like, far away, the dumbest shit I've ever heard him say.
Hold on.
And for Sam Cedar to chime in and say, I'll debate him, I was watching that like, if he doesn't want to do it, I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, Twitter tends to repeat the same thing over and over again. But that was a comedic take on the Vanguard boys and Kyle Kulinski getting all hyped up over Jimmy Dore making some comment about why he personally say that Donald Trump is the lesser evil to Joe Biden. Now, there is a greater context to this, and there's nuance. And yeah, for anybody suggests that Jimmy Dore is some crypto Republican MAGA person, it's ridiculous. And it's been said for many years. It's been said that he's a Republican, or he's pro-Trump. Maybe if I'm going to be charitable toward the anti-Jimmy Dore critics, maybe there are times he is a little softer on Trump than maybe some people should be. But that would have been true of Kyle. Kyle Kulinski doesn't suffer from Trump derangement syndrome either. Now, I know he's going to ham it up a little bit, because he wants to, in my opinion, wants a job at MSNBC and wants to go and make nice with Shank and Anna from the Young Turks. So that's what I think is happening in that regard. But let me just go ahead and play a little bit of clip from the Vanguard and the interview. And you'll see what I mean, and I'll share my take on it. So we're going to we'll put it on a instead of normal speed, we'll put it on 1.25. I promise they're not going to be sounding like the little chipmunk kids, just what you just heard a moment ago. So momentarily. All right, so let's get started. Y'all take it away right now.
If it comes down to Trump versus Biden or DeSantis versus Biden, and I'm in Virginia, I think I would go cast a vote for Biden because for all the issues he has far surpassed my expectations. But now,
okay, Kyle, why are you trying to sound like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? That Biden exceeded my expectations. That's what she said. I mean, why you want to go and quote her? It's not true. It's not true, Kyle. It's not true. Biden did not exceed any left-wing expectations. And what's sad about it is he governs like a moderate Republican, referring to Joe Biden, and the Republicans don't never give him credit for it. That's the saddest part about it. But you got a bunch of lefties whose politics are pretty decent, and they want to go and play nice with these right-wing corporate Democrats and say, "Yay, Democrats! Yay, Democrats!" Don't do that. Really, Kyle, that was not you years ago. And let me tell you, Kyle, and anybody out there, whether you're a corporate Democrat or whether you are a bona fide actual lefty inside the Democratic Party trying to fight the good fight. I live in a purple state called North Carolina. And let me tell you that if Trump is the nominee and it's close between him and Biden in North Carolina, or even if Satan himself, Ron DeSantis, becomes the nominee and it's close between DeSantis and Biden here in North Carolina, purple North Carolina, I'm still casting my vote for Cornel West, because under Biden, we're not getting Medicare for all. We're not getting a public option. He's not even trying. And he's getting us closer and closer to World War III. We know that he'll continue that. We know DeSantis will continue that. And maybe that's probably one area where Trump might even be better. But on the foreign policy side, I don't know. So let's continue.
But now it complicates it even more because Cornel West is running, and I fucking love Cornel West, and he's way more in alignment with my politics. So if I was in New York, I probably would still vote for Cornel West and not for Biden. So anyway, tell me your thing.
No, Kyle, you should vote for Cornel West in New York. You should vote for him in Virginia, whichever state you will be residing in November 2024. I don't know where you're legally allowed to vote now, but I'm just saying. And you were correct to boycott the 2020 election. All right.
You're thinking and why you're more or less convinced that it's the right thing to do to go Cornel West.
All right, gotcha. A lot to respond there.
Yeah, sorry about that spiel.
No, you're great. That's a lot of good stuff. So first of all, I do live in a safe state. I live in Missouri, which is 100% going to go red. It does every year, at least during my lifetime. At one point, not so much, but now it is solidly red state. Joe Biden's not going to win it, in my opinion. It's going to go to the Republicans, no matter who I vote for. So I'm going to vote for Cornel West in the general election, despite acknowledging, and I think it is important for us lefties to acknowledge that, yes, Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils, and I would much rather him be president again than Donald Trump be president again. I think it's a huge red flag of a faux populist when you start hearing people like Jimmy Dore making the argument that actually Trump is the lesser of two evils, and he's
that is literally
less of a fascist.
Just to be clear, that is of all the things he said, that is by far and away the dumbest shit I've ever heard him say. And for Sam Cedar to chime in and say, I'll debate him, I was watching that like, if he doesn't want to do it, I'll fucking do it. I'll do it. Because that shit is, do you have any brain cells left to make that argument? Like, that's the thing I don't like. He's a narrative humper, and he's a terminal contrarian. So he has his narrative, which is like, actually, Democrats are the bigger evil. And it's like, if you follow the news at all in modern day, you would know for sure that's factually false. Or you do know that and you're lying because you're a narrative humper and you're sticking to your narrative no matter what. So anyway, sorry.
Okay. All right. Is Trump a lesser evil to Biden? Okay. Is Trump a lesser evil to Biden? Well, it might be a stretch to take it literally. I don't think that Jimmy Dore meant that literally. I think that Jimmy Dore basically saying that the Democratic Party is so used to its corporate donors, it's so used to shitting on its left-wing base, it's so used to turning its back on progressives, and considering look what Biden did as a U.S. Senator. It was called the Biden crime bill. We have an incarceration problem in this country. And look what he did to a lot of African Americans in the 1990s, putting African Americans behind bars. We have a prison industrial complex that Biden's hands is involved with. Did Trump make it better? Not really. But is it his fault that we have this problem? He didn't start this. And, Orange Man may be bad, but you know what caused Orange Man to sit in the Oval Office from January 20th, 2017 to January 2021? You want to know why we had to endure 4 years of Orange Man? Because of the shenanigans of Bill Clinton, the shenanigans of George W. Bush, the shenanigans of Barack Obama, and that Hillary Clinton saying, we're going to offer you more of this. That is why we ended up with Donald Trump. Some of those people that voted for Donald Trump would have voted for Bernie Sanders in the 2016 election. Bernie Sanders could have been our president if what happened in 2016 behind the scenes and what happened again in 2020, if that would have never been allowed to happen. The fact, Kyle, your candidate, Marianne Williamson, will not be debating Joe Biden in the primaries. Same thing with RFK. I know you're not keen on him, but both Marianne Williamson and Robert Kennedy are to the left of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is essentially a moderate Republican. And in some ways, Joe Biden is every bit as conservative as Donald Trump. In some areas, he's to the right of Donald Trump. In some areas, he's more left of Donald Trump. It's a wash. And what Jimmy Dore is saying, that the system is so corrupt, and that the electorate are so pissed on all the time by our politicians, that someone like a Donald Trump comes along, he may do some things like scrap the TPP, or he may decide not to go and drone strike in Iran to kill 150 people for Iran blowing up an unmanned drone, for an example. Oh, there are things I can give you a list of things, and I'm sure if you're listening, you would agree with me. The list of things to go and get to harp on Trump about: selling arms to Saudi Arabia. That's committing a war crime, genocide in Yemen. That is something to go and harp on Trump about. Killing of General Qasem Soleimani, the drone strike against him in Iran, is also a war crime. There are some war crimes committed by Donald Trump. He ain't innocent. But you know what? Joe Biden, cluster bombs over there, giving money to neo-Nazis in the Ukraine. I mean, that's a war crime too, And remember, Joe Biden voted for the war in Iraq in 2002. Hillary Clinton destroyed the most prosperous country on the African continent, Libya, in 2010. You never forget these things. And you know this, Kyle. You damn well know this. So anyway, we'll let them continue.
Sorry, I interjected there to show how pissed off I was over that.
And by the way, I think it's okay to reject the lesser of two evilism idea or that dynamic. If you say, okay, well, obviously Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils,
correct? Yes,
I don't want to participate. I'm going to cast a protest vote. That's fine, but don't fucking pretend that Trump is the lesser of two evils. That's ridiculous. So yeah, I do live in a safe state, and I would actually take it further than you, Kyle. You said if someone lives in a safe state, then you think it's totally fine to vote for a third party or Green Party candidate. I would actually go further than that. I would say if you live in a solidly red or solidly blue state, and there's a Green Party candidate as good as Cornel West on the ballot, then you almost have no excuse not to vote for that candidate, right? Because if you're living in Missouri or California on the flip side of that, then your vote is meaningless, honestly. And let's.
Wow, Beavis from Beavis and Butthead is correct about something. Yeah, I mean, if you're living in New York, which is as Democratic as hell, or in Republican Mississippi, which is, Republican as hell, and you're a lefty, you might as well vote for Cornel West for president, because he is the best option. If you are some kind of a progressive, if you're some kind of whether you're wanting to use the weak ass liberal progressive label in the United States, or whether you see yourself as to the left of those labels, you see yourself as a socialist or a social democrat or an anarcho-syndicalist or a Trotskyist or some kind of tanky whatever, and we're just going to go down the various terminologies of the left. It is your duty to go and vote for someone like Cornel West, because Joe Biden is going to give you more corporate greed and corporate just more of the corporatist agenda. Look at the rail strikes and look at he said he was going to be the most pro-union president. What has he done to grow the unions? What has he done? There's been nothing of a meaning for him to do this. There's not even been a minimum wage increase of $15 an hour, which doesn't even go far enough, by the way, anymore. No $15 an hour, no robust public option, no prescription drug reform. And one thing that if he would have fought for Build Back Better in its original form, Build Back Better. And I don't want to hear some blowhard Fox News loving, moron saying it's woke. Build Back Better is woke. I don't want to hear that shit. It is as class reductionist as it could have been. Free college tuition for community college students, labor law reform, a public option, prescription drug reforms. Basically, the government will have a Buy American clause on how it does things here in the United States. If U.S. government is going to be purchasing something or doing contracts, it'd be doing contracts with American companies when it works in the private sector, that sort of thing. And those private sectors will have to go and provide a living wage for their employees. Parental leave, paid, this sort of thing. This is not woke. This is this class reductionist, no nonsense, basic New Deal progressivism revised as possible. Couldn't even get that passed. Couldn't even get it passed. It was moderate. It was a moderate proposal. And you allow the Republicans to go around saying, this is socialism. And you allow morons like Joe Manchin and Karen Sinema of Arizona to go around and do force to vote and make Build Back Better as shitty as possible and pissing it away to where it doesn't really do anything. No, fuck the Democrats. Fuck the Democrats for being junior Republicans, for being Mitch McConnell's bitch. Fuck them. So, as far as if you're going to go and have a Democratic Party that's always going to be Mitch McConnell's bitch, and you're not going to complain about that, but you're going to complain that Jimmy Dore says, and you have to realize the context of what he's saying. He's saying that people vote for Trump because they felt like the Democrats have forsaken them. They felt like the Democrats took a crap on them. That's basically what he says when he says that Trump is a lesser evil. He literally does not mean that Trump is a lesser evil. For example, when Trump tried to enact the Insurrection Act 3 years ago, he denounced Donald Trump, basically denounced Donald Trump and on his show. So don't try to make out like he is some kind of crypto secret right winger. And going on Tucker Carlson does not make you right wing, by the way. We'll let Beavis and Butthead have a conversation with Eminem.
And let's be honest about the presidential election. Unless you live in like one of 6 or 7 states, the vote you cast for president is one of the most meaningless things you're ever going to fucking do. And because of the Electoral College, it doesn't matter. Honestly, unless you live in fucking Georgia, right? At this point. So I think that's something that needs to be said. And I wish that more people would understand how meaningless their vote for president is. Because if more people employed my logic of, well, if I live in a state that's definitely going to go red or definitely going to go blue, so therefore I might as well just vote for the Green Party. I think if more people realize that, then the Green Party by now would have reached that 5% threshold that is necessary to get federal funding. And that's another reason why I'm very committed to getting Cornel West to 5%. I think that, yes, ranked choice voting is massively, massively important and that we do need to work on making that a reality. reality before third-party candidates can truly flourish. But I think almost equally important is getting the Green Party to 5% in a national election. That way they can get federal funding and matching funds. That'll make them a much more formidable force in the next general election. And also, I think that there is definitely a lot to be said about ranked choice voting. Zach and I are huge advocates of it, and I think it's hugely important for the third-party movement. But if you do look at some previous examples of third-party victories, one that Zach and I have studied is Jesse Ventura's election as a third-party governor in Minnesota. It actually was him getting on the debate stage that really made a difference in that. He was far, far behind in the polls, losing to the Republican Norm Coleman and the Democrat Skip Humphrey, who were much more established politicians in the state of Minnesota. He was like far behind them, basically just considered like a joke candidate until there was debates. And then Jesse Ventura, through his ability to contrast his populist perspective with the corporate Democrat and the corporate Republican, it immediately changed, basically overnight after that debate. Now, obviously not ever.
Yep, and that's another thing to consider. This is why people need to vote for a third party, because voting, not saying you go and vote for a third party for the sake of voting for a third party, but there are things like a voting for Cornel West in 2024. If the Green Party gets above 5% of the vote, they get federal funds from the U.S. government, and that means they are a game changer, and that the Democrats and Republicans will have to start paying attention to this party, kind of like how in Canada the New Democratic Party has to pay attention to the Liberals, and the Tories in Canada has to pay attention to the New Democratic Party of Canada. That's what they have to do to stay relevant. So, and for a country that claims to love the free enterprise of ideas and competition, they certainly hate competitions of third parties. Look what happened in 2000 with the Reform Party. Okay, Ross Perot, not a perfect individual. He's a billionaire, was a billionaire. That's a good reason not to like Ross Perot, but I'll give him props for creating a third party. Republicans back then were hating on him because, well, they caused Bill Clinton to become president in 1992 and in 1996. You heard right-wingers saying that. Flip it over, and now it's the Democrats saying, we can't have a Green Party. You're just going to allow the Republicans to win. And here's the thing. The they blame Ralph Nader endlessly for 2000 for giving us George W. Bush. Now, what do these fucking Democrats do? They unzip George W. Bush's pants and they go and slobber on his cock all day long while they give the middle finger to Ralph Nader. I can't take that seriously. Kyle, if you're going to criticize Jimmy Dore for his statement about Donald Trump being the lesser evil, criticize the Democrats who are sitting there slobbering on George W. Bush and Dick Cheney's cock all day long while they give Ralph Nader and Bernie Sanders and Jill Stein the middle finger. When you do that first, then we can talk about whether we should be mad at Jimmy Dore or not. If you're not going to address that, then I don't want to hear it, because it's the Democrats who are the problem. It's the Democrats who are the problem. So anyway, let's see. I'll tell you what. We'll just go ahead and conclude with that right there. But here's the thing. I don't want to hear it from corporate Democrats when they sit there and lecture as they are friends with Bill Kristol, who's the architect of the Iraq War. I don't want to hear it from Democrats who thinks, who loves Liz Cheney all of a sudden just to own Trump. Which, let me tell you a couple of those things about Liz Cheney. She voted with Donald Trump 93% of the time as a member of the U.S. House of Representatives. Now, I'm not particularly a shitlib like Mike from PA, who I have not seen his show in a while, but he said this one time, and I do agree with him, that he bet that the 7% of the time that Liz Cheney voted against Donald Trump in the U.S. House was probably the 7% of the time Donald Trump was kind of probably had a position that was to the left of Liz Cheney. And Liz Cheney's position, Donald Trump's position on LGBTQ rights is much closer to a Bernie Sanders and an AOC than it is Marjorie Taylor Greene's. While Liz Cheney, the Democrats' latest hero, the person that Rod Reiner said he would like to see as the nominee for president one day, said her position on LGBTQ rights is a softer version of the shit that comes out of Marjorie Taylor Greene's mouth. And this is who Democrats wants us to be friends with. Liz Cheney wants us to be friends with Bill Kristol and be friends with George W. Bush just to own the orange one. I mean, that's the point Jimmy Dore is trying to make. Now, you don't have to love Jimmy Dore and all that, but, you know, if you're going to go and a character assassinate Jimmy Dore, and I understand, Kyle, I understand what's going on. I understand what's going on with Jimmy Dore. I think there's also another context to this. You're a little bit humiliated. You're a little bit humiliated from 2 years ago when essentially Shank and Anna from the Young Turks and Jimmy Dore basically humiliated you. Now, I do agree that they should not have thrown you in the middle of that. I agree that it was wrong on their part. But you want to go and impress Shank Ugert and Anna Kasparian by talking smack about Jimmy Dore. And I get it. That's what you want to do. They don't respect you, Kyle. They don't. I mean, they write you off and they make fun of you and all of that. Now, Jimmy Dore's a little bit louder in the public about it and everything. And, whatever. We could say what we will about that. And frankly, I mean, I don't agree with Jimmy Dore on every issue. I'm more on his page than I am the Young Turks. Strangely enough, Kyle, my politics is probably more in line with yours than it is with Jimmy Dore. But where I am in agreement with Jimmy Dore is that nothing can be done. Nothing can be done to save the two-party system, to make the Democratic Party a meaningful party of opposition party to the Republicans. It can't be done. Democrats are the other Republicans. And that's the point he tries to make. And he is correct on that, Kyle. I know you got your eggs in one basket. You want a job at MSNBC. You want to be in the good graces of Shank and Anna over there at the Young Turks. Look, there's no reason. Even the leftist mafia, which is a joke of a show, talks smack about Shank and Anna. It's okay. You can do that now. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, birthing person would just have to get over it, horse fucker was going to have to get over it as well. That's what it's going to have to be, of course. So it just whatever. You want to go and impress people. Be what you used to be. Don't let the hair dye. Don't let that blonde hair dye affect your judgment. And just as far as Jimmy Dore is concerned, he's been right on a lot of things. He was correct on force to vote, and he was correct on the Democrats not doing shit for the people, and they're going to continue not to do shit for the people. I don't see what's so hard to believe what's so hard to believe about that. Do I care if he goes on Tucker Carlson? Hell no. Do I care that maybe you find a conservative or a libertarian saying, well, I don't agree with everything Jimmy Dore said, but he's one of the better cool lefties out there. Well, you know what? When they do that, that's step one. some of them will turn leftward as a result. They will turn leftward. So anyway, I just needed to get that out of my chest. Of course, I did. So anyhow, let's see here. Yeah, Snipe Hunter, I'm glad you were here to help me with the sound, to see if there's a sound quality issue. I'm still having audio issues, unfortunately. I'm still having audio issues in this day and age. And I wish I didn't, but I will take care of that once I get my new computer. So that's the thing right there. So it takes time, folks. Takes time. So anyway, I'll make a quick announcement. This coming Thursday, Jimi Sunderland will be guest on the Willie Bragg Show. She will be guest. She usually co-hosts once a week, but this coming Thursday she will be a guest, and we're going to just talk casually about how we're in this space, online left space, and talk about our new project. I guess I can talk about it now. Our new project called Braglands. Braglands will be a new program co-hosted by Jimmy Sunderland and myself. We'll be co-hosting it. The time will likely be every Friday evening from 5 to 7. That is what we're planning on working on right now. It will be a once a week show. It'll be a little bit of everything, a little bit of politics, a little bit of fun, interviews, that sort of thing. And I think I feel pretty good about this project, and she seems to feel the same. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, let's see here. I saw somebody else on the chat line. And yesterday was her birthday. So, and real quick, please do follow Jimmy. And I got her. She does the graphics for my show here. Do the right thing. Go down to the description box and find her, and follow her on YouTube and Twitch, because she's trying to increase her number on her channel. So I would like for y'all to go ahead and do that. All right. So anyway, I guess I will conclude by saying, if you like what you heard, please press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. We'll have a conversation. Feel free to also share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Feel free also to follow me on YouTube here. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Also, follow me on Twitter and follow me on Facebook. Today, I just had my 1,000th follower on Twitter. So, I'm building up on Twitter. Help me get up to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. It's very easy. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and voila, you are subscribed to this channel. It's quick and it's painless. Always reject corporate media. And one more announcement. I don't know exactly what time, but I will let everybody know on Facebook and Twitter who follows me. But I will likely be on the Jamar Jabari podcast on Tuesday on a time to be determined. So, I don't even know what we're going to be talking about. So I was invited on the show. So I always like going on Jamar Jabari. Another one you should follow if you get a chance. So anyway, I will let you all go. You all Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, I remember what happened. Okay, I think. Okay, hold on.